I'm done with this. The whole electronic life suffocates me. It leaves me feeling so incomplete. I need to expand my horizons. I feel like I should retreat from the world and live the life of a hermit in a nature reserve, watching for fires in a hut on a hill.
Oh, I could just stay inside and play Firewatch, because fuck this weather, right?
Firewatch, released in February of 2016, is a walking simulator. Now, I'm not a huge fan of those. I think it can be done very well, like in PT, bless his little soul, he left us too soon, for example. But usually the story just doesn't pay off enough for me. In games like Gone to the Rapture and Gone Home, it just feels like you're chasing the story, and damn it, I might as well just read a book. Now don't get me wrong, I love games with story. I've played my fair share of visual novels, I've transferred my schools, I've hooked up with senpai, I've done all of it. So I know story when I see it. Now I bet that for how hyped this game is, it really should be able to deliver, with some epic stories and mysteries and everything. From here on out, I'll basically be summarizing the game story. So if you plan to play this game, then don't watch any further than this. Do I think this game is worth your time? Maybe. I personally think it's a better game than Gone Home or Gone to the Rapture, thanks to its aesthetic and the actual being in the story. So if you like those two games, then this is something for you. So you should go buy it instead of listening to me basically summarize the story to you. The game starts with flashbacks. Text-adventure flashbacks, that is. Listen, game, I know I asked for a book, but I wasn't actually expecting to get one. It tackles pretty devastating topics, too. In these flashbacks, we find out that their lovely wife, Julia, has early onset dementia. Poor guy. No wonder he wants to live out in the middle of nowhere. If this were me, I would want to get away from everything as well. Oh, by the way, I want you to take note of this deer. Why? Because it's the first of the huge collection of 3 animals you can find in this game. There's the deer, the raccoon, and the little turtle I decided to call Turt Reynolds. I bet it's some kind of wordplay, but I'm not old, so I don't get it. A little while later, we arrive at the outpost and meet Delilah, our charming colleague for this summer.
So, what's wrong with you?
She immediately starts prying at our private life. Like, damn woman, I came here to run away from my demented wife, not talk about her. Although the feeling of isolation really makes you feel like you're in the middle of nature, I think it's just to conceal that their 3D modeler is horrible at creating humans. I mean, just look at those legs! What are those? They look like what happens when you glue hair to a 3D rendered model of Donald Trump's neck. Anyway, next day, after falling down the "my boss is trying to kill me" shell slide, driving off some annoying teens who set off fireworks and leave articles of clothes hanging around and making some minor death threats, we go back to our town, which has been ransacked. And so starts our little mystery. Next day, we find the 2 rowdy teens at it again. They cut a phone cord, and you betcha we're gonna do
something that would make a teenage girl run home to mommy and daddy.
Yes, that. A little later, we find a bunch of ropes and an old Kodak in a random backpack. Thanks, Brian Goodwin. The Kodak's a pretty charming thing about the game. You can take pictures with the Kodak and actually have them printed through their website. It's a charming little touch, don't you think? So, we track down their camp, and guess what? It's already been completely wrecked. Oh yes, and the girls go missing, cause, that's what we needed. All I wanted is a relaxing job, spending my summer in the middle of nowhere. I didn't ask for this, man. Oh, you got me nervous. So let's talk about Delilah for a little. I mean, it's clearly the love interest of Henry, our main character. And I really don't blame him. I mean, if your wife were to have onset dementia, she wouldn't be able to remember you, wouldn't you somehow want to move on? They're doing something like, 47? You still got like half your life to live, May. Go out, live a little. A couple of days later, Henry finds a clipboard with parts of the walkie-talkie conversations he had with Delilah earlier. Delilah doesn't seem very impressed, though. Oh, yes, and then I get knocked out and my new findings mysteriously disappear. What our protagonist does remember is the name Wapiti Station on the clipboard and walkie-talkie. Delilah doesn't know about a Wapiti Station, but does tell us that there's a Wapiti Meadow. Which, may I add, is really odd because you can clearly see Delilah's tower from Wapiti Station later on in the game, and we know that she spends all of her days in that tower peering through binoculars. How did she not see this enormous metal thing? Getting into Wapiti Station is easy enough after we fetch an axe from an abandoned fireline burner's camp. Here we find some pretty disconcerting stuff. There's psychological reports on Henry and Delilah, and fascinating tracking devices. Oh, and a little after leaving the camp, it's set on fire. A great mystery is building up, and I'm getting really excited for this. Where will it lead? Where will it end? Seems like Henry thinks so too. He's gone full conspiracy theorist here. Incompetently, of course. We all know you use red string for this. The thingy we found in the strange camp starts beeping. And you know what that means? Time to investigate! Oh, jeez! What? Whoa, seriously, that scared the bejesus out of me. Oh, but hey, at least we have the key to the cave we couldn't access earlier. Whoever set the camp on fire is now dead set on blackmailing us for some reason, and this clearly shows that they are, in fact, tapping our walkie-talkies. Alright, it's time to get to the bottom of this. We're going cave exploring. What will we find down there? Well, we'll find a way out of the cave after someone locks us in there. There's a small camp here. Castle.
Delilah, I just found an outcropping.
Apparently Ned Goodwin and his son, Brian, spent their summer here. So that pack we found earlier, you know, the one with the Kodak, yeah, they accidentally dropped it from there.
To lose his anchor.
Oh my god, these guys were major nerds. They spent their days in the wilderness playing wizards and wyverns.
Yeah.
What, do you need any more proof that I'm a huge nerd? I don't think so. We also find some pythons here, and turns out that the girls have turned back up. Whew! Looks like they weren't kidnapped after all, and we don't have to take the blame. Hooray! After hiking back to the cave entrance, we can use these pythons to delve deeper. I think, yeah, that's Ned. He borrowed his dad's climbing gear and, well, never returned them. This part of the game is actually quite sad. The fort we found earlier clearly showed how much they loved being together and doing dorky stuff. For us gamers, that makes them very relatable. But even then, we have a huge mystery awaiting us. We must forge onward and figure out what's with these bleeping thingies and this camp and that fire. After relaying this information to Delilah, the day ends, and thus, we reach the final day. The fires have spread so far that we have to evacuate. On our way out, however, we find Ned Goodwin's camp. That's right, Ned Goodwin has been camping here for all that time. He's the one who was listening to our walkie-talkies, he's the one who knocked us out at the lake, he's the one who set that camp on fire, I think. And just like that, we reach Delilah's tower and the game ends. This game, the suspension is like a balloon inflating, but instead of exploding into a huge expansive mystery, it just goes limp at the last moment and gives us this really poor explanation that this one dude was trying to scare them, or something, cause his son died. And then we leave because fire. You're telling me that this guy created one of the worst forest fires just to scare the Firewatchers? Man, this sounds more like an episode of Scooby-Doo than the intense fire-watching action I was promised. That was what I wrote down the moment I finished this game. The ending infuriated me so much that I just couldn't help but want to make a video about it. The mystery it promised just wasn't really there, and it made me angry. The story up to the last day promised a huge mystery, and the turnout was just disappointing. But I don't know, it's now a few days later and I'm just not sure anymore. This game is beautiful and its story was so emotional and the characters so vibrant. Perhaps I was just sad that it didn't get the ending I thought it deserved. So after that, I did some research, and it seems like there's something we missed. Remember when Delilah was not all that impressed by my finds at the lake, and tried to tell me that I was hallucinating? Remember that we could see her outpost from Camp Wapiti? And what if I told you that Ned's hideout has a huge window with a view of Delilah's tower? Geek Remix's video corroborated my idea with even more proof. Go check out that video for yourself. So, what if Delilah knew that Ned was there all along? What if she's in on this sick joke? Or perhaps Ned had some kind of crush on Delilah and he got jealous of Henry. I mean, I really don't know. And you know what? That's fine. Looking back on this game, I'm still not sure whether I love it or hate it. And I think that's what the game tried to do to a certain extent. It just wants to tell that story, whether it makes me like it or not. I can say this game made me think more than Gone Home. Perhaps it's the story. Perhaps it's the graphics. Perhaps it's because I'm a few years older. Perhaps I have to revisit that game someday. Man, that was kind of depressing, wasn't it? Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll go back to questioning life and playing a Steam version of Harvest Moon. I hope you enjoyed this completely different type of video, and I hope you can leave me some criticism by leaving me a comment. And if you enjoyed the video, why don't you hit subscribe so you can see when I make another one? As a final note, I would like to thank Noir Blue for borrowing me his Firewatch footage, because I watched my recording and I didn't feel like playing it again, to be quite honest. Thanks for watching. Cheers.